Hello and welcome to Boss Business Strategies Talk Show, the premier talk show for entrepreneurs looking to scale to their first $1 million, where I bring you front row and center to the blueprint behind the brand, straight from the millionaire entrepreneurs themselves. I'm your host, Dr. Marcea, a physician, a life and business coach, and radio personality. I help female entrepreneurs who are navigating the business building process to harness the power of their story, build an authentic platform, and chart a clear path to success. It's all about the power, it's all about the platform, and it's all about the pathway. And today, I am beyond excited to welcome a powerhouse who's done just that, Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson. Dr. Rochel Marie, she is a renowned as the queen of feeling fabulous, and she is an entrepreneur and wellness advocate with over 30 years of experience as the CEO of All Day Cable Inc. and founder of Blissful Living for You. She has made significant impacts in the telecom and wellness sectors. She's been recognized as Silicon Valley's top 50 women-owned business leader. Dr. Rochel's journey is marked by resilience and dedication. She is a multiple #1 best-selling author and the creator of the Brave, Bold, and Unstoppable Women's Summits. She's a nurse. She's an alternative health practitioner and a dream lifestyle transformation facilitator. Dr. Rochel is committed to empowering women in achieving a harmonious balance between business success and personal wellness. And so her approachable and heartfelt communication style endears her to audiences, making her a sought after speaker and a mentor. So I want to welcome Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson to the stage. How are you?
Fabulous.
That's right. Look, I wouldn't have expected you to say anything less. Anything less. Now, I know you're joining me. Where's your home base?
Well, I'm from California.
Uh-huh.
So California, San Francisco Bay Area is always my home.
Yeah.
But I currently reside in Texas in between San Antonio and Austin.
Yeah. Okay. So cool. So look, I just want to jump right into it. And I know you have had such a groundbreaking journey, being I believe, the first woman to own a cable installation company in Silicon Valley. Did I get that right?
I am the first minority woman-owned telecommunications installation company co-founder CEO in the United States.
In the United States. That's
Yes.
look, that's what I'm talking about. And so I want to know what inspired that bold move for you being in that cable industry as well as in that a male dominated space.
Well, it basically started because I couldn't get hired as an electrical engineer in Silicon Valley in the late 80s, particularly because of my gender. I don't think anything to do with my color, but it was definitely gender based because that's what I would hear. And so uh, I went back to school and got a nursing degree and was working nights as doing ER trauma nursing and flight nursing. And my husband, who actually got the same electrical engineering degree, same time as I did, got hired for a company to do telecom. So he's working a day, I'm working at night. We were just two passing ships in the night. And one morning I'm coming in, he's going out, and I said, we could start a business ourselves. And that's pretty much how it came about. Neither one of us had any business experience, but I went down to the city of San Jose, got the business license. And within the first 2 weeks of us having the business license, we acquired a major global financial institution as our first customer, and they're still our customer today. And I'm proud to say I can share. It's Citibank. Uh, National Citibank North America is what they're called right now. And then within the next 2 weeks, we acquired 7 of the big 8 accounting firms in San Francisco as our customers, and it just kind of took off. Yeah.
Wow. Right. That itself is amazing. You took a no, and then you worked it to the point, and then you did it yourself. I call it create your own stage. You created your own, and then you went on to to get contracts with some of the biggest national brands in the area?
Yeah, it was, I can't take all the credit, and I actually can't take the credit for acquiring those customers because it was really my co-founder and husband that had the relationships already with some of those customers. Uh, Based on the previous company he was working for, the one that when he was going out during the day and I'm coming in at night, because it got to really like him and he did really good work. And so it was the relationships that he had with the project managers that when he said, "Hey, we started our own business," it was just easy. They loved Daryl. So it was just an easy and natural transition into like, let's give our business to, Daryl. He's already servicing us. Let's just give him the business since he started his company. And that's so I really have to give that kind of credit to him because he was the face of the company. And I was the one behind the scenes doing all the operations and making sure all the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed, and that kind of nature. But I did do the networking at, the powerful networking events, so to speak. And so, yeah, it was a great separation of responsibilities. I let him, I guess, shine in his area, and he allowed me to shine in my area. And, that's how we've been in business for the last 35 years.
So that's amazing. And you just painted a picture of collaboration and teamwork. And how was it? I don't hear this as so much, but as far as working with a spouse, how did you navigate that space and emerge as a leader?
Oh, girl. Girl, it was challenging. It was challenging because we have two different mindsets about pretty much everything. And even though we're not married anymore, we still run the business together, and we still have two different mindsets. It was challenging. It was uh we had to each learn how to stay in the lane that we were most proficient in. And sometimes we'd be working in the office and we'd be having some arguments, but then we would always step out of the office and be just like everything was cool. So we never took the business stuff home. Even if I were working from home, it was never that. Like my kids would laugh. Um, because they'd be like, "Dang, we just heard you guys arguing. You step out like nothing happened, right?" But it was really just learning to respect the other's source of grace and greatness. And when we were able to do that, that's when the business was able to take off.
That's good. And that even goes true for if you just have business partners that you're not married to, right? So you talked about staying in your lane and working in your, I guess, your zone of genius. What were some of the other, I guess, tips that you would give to folks who are collaborating with others and there may be some sticking points?
Well, I think communication is key. Not making assumptions is another one. Engaging in dialogue and making sure that every component, every person within the realm of running the business, as well as those that do the work, understand that they have a voice and they can speak. If they see something, it's okay to bring it to the attention of those that are within the organization and allowing everybody to be in their zone of genius is golden. And making sure that those that you have that you're working with, you're collaborating with, or your employees know their zone of genius and hold them accountable for being in their zone of genius, especially when you place them in a position that allows their zone of genius to really shine and shine brightly. That is one of the keys, I think, or several of the keys I think that one to running a successful business and two having the longevity in a in the corporate world or the business world. Um, yeah, because I mean, there's even businesses that we've done business with that have come and gone over the course of the 35 years. And when I tell people that we've been in business for 35 years, they're like, "What?" It's mind-blowing because not many companies last that long, particularly small businesses. We're a small business.
Absolutely. Yep.
Might be small, but we're mighty. But, I've seen people in companies come and go. And so I think that those are some of the keys to success
Mhm.
and why we've had the sustainability and the longevity in relationships with our customers for some of them for the 35 years,
Yeah.
that we've been in business.
Yeah, so you mentioned about, we talked about letting folks stay in their zone of genius and kind of helping them find that. We say that in a way that well, you say it like it's, oh yeah, we just help them find their zone of genius, right? But that sounds like a whole leadership masterclass. How, just give me an example of how that played out in your business over the last 35 years.
So, what I discovered, I do practice the holistic aspect of, wellness, wisdom, and wealth, and I utilize the principles of Ayurveda for physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being with my clients. But I also have incorporated the principles of Ayurveda into running my business, which I think has been a key to making sure I get the right people that fit their zone of genius and allow them to be successful. Because when they're successful and they feel successful, it makes the company successful, right? And so within the context of Ayurveda, there are these principles, and I take the principles and I've taken what we call the dosha, which is your unique essence as an individual that's created at the moment of conception. And based on an individual's dosha type, the predominant dosha type, I make sure that they're placed in the positions that allow, quote, their natural essence to shine. So I don't have a person that is methodically strategic and will get the stuff done behind the scenes doing the creative marketing stuff, or the creative marketing person. And I would say the creative marketing person doing the grounds and the boots and installation stuff, or the marketing person doing the strategic implementation and processes and all of that operation stuff, because they'll fail, and we can't have them fail because the business will see the failure and begin to suffer from it. And so I utilize those principles, and it took me a while to understand that I could take it from just helping people with their health and well-being to helping people really understand the processes of their business, where their business is, where it's out of balance, what positions are out of balance, and how to realign them so everything flows harmonistically. It took me a while, but I got it. And once I figured that out, I think that is also one of the keys to longevity and success, because now I know I can take a look at my business and say, okay, my business is a, Pitta Vata, Pitta Kapha dosha based on Ayurvedic principles, right? And so, how are we flowing? Where are we out of line with the business? And then which people that align or doing certain processes, how are they flowing? Is it a fit for them, or is it not really a fit for them and they're struggling and they actually hate it? When I discover that, then I can make arrangements and adjustments to make sure that people are in their place where their zone of genius can just really thrive. And it has made a tremendous, tremendous impact on the business.
Wow, that is powerful. And just even as how you were able to verbalize it, is you can tell that it's something that's ingrained into who you are and how you do business, but also how you do life,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, you kind of broke the glass ceiling, if you will, in the cable industry. First of all, how does it feel to have done that? And was there ever a moment where you were like, you know what, this is just too hard?
Repeat that last part of the question.
And was there ever a point along the way when you said, you know what, breaking this glass ceiling is hard, and I'm just going to tap out.
Oh, yeah. So, oh yeah, there's been many, 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 many moments and many, many learning lessons. It's a continual process of learning and development and acknowledging, um, as a CEO, when something is failing within the company in the complexity of it, it's a reflection on me, right? And so, breaking the glass ceiling is hard. Uh I've gone to events where I was the only female, particularly in the beginning, and I've had men surround me and, act like first of all, they're either hitting on me, then they're acting like they're really interested in the business. They were, because I was a little cutie back then. And then they would actually tell me, who the hell do I think I am, playing in the good old boys network, and that they were going to make sure that I was out of business within 2 years. Well, that didn't happen. I'm still around, 30. 30 years later, 33 plus years later, and these
Yes.
guys they're gone. They were older men, but it definitely does not come without challenges, particularly if you're a woman in a male-dominated industry. I was young, I was cute, I was smart, I was sassy, and ooh, I was hella fiery, and I still am. I just know how to use the fire. I don't just lash out like the volcano. I know how to strategically use the fire to burn somebody, right? Or, but back then it was very challenging because I was always getting hit on. I was I was at a meeting in Long Island with a global company that we were working. We were privileged to get this project. They were rolling at 832 redesigns of their branches. And they had me like I was with, my husband at the time, and they were like, hey, can you go get coffee? Can you go get some papers and pens? Da, 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 da. And I'm just going to get stuff because I'm like, let's get this meeting going. And then they looked at Daryl, and he's the, co-founder, and they're like, well, whenever Rochelle shows up, because they never see me, they never see me. That's hard. They just knew the name. Whenever Rochelle shows up, we'll get started. He's like, well, Rochelle's the girl you've been having running around, get the pens and the coffee and stuff. And they're like, oh my God. And they were hugely apologetic. But again, I'm the only female in a room with men. And I mean, I've had some interesting stories. There were times where they didn't even see, some of these guys didn't see me, and they'd be talking to Daryl, and they'd be like, so hey, you know, um, when are we gonna meet Rochelle? And then they would meet me, and then they'd be like, hey, so I'm coming out to San Francisco, I'm coming to California, can you set up a dinner so we can meet Rochelle, or I can meet Rochelle, and it was multiple times. So I like to get at her. And he'd be like, Rochelle? And they'd be like, yeah, that cutie, that the girl with the freckles, the light-skinned black girl with the freckles. And he'd be like, really, Rochelle? And they'd be like, yeah. And they before they got to say something really not, kosher, he'd be like, that's my wife, right? And they'd be like, oh, shoot, man. Oh, man, why didn't you say something? And he's like, I was just going to let you see how far you were going to take it, right? And they would laugh and stuff. But I mean, again, it was just me, this woman in this male dominated industry. And it happened a lot. Now, over the course of the years, these guys have retired, companies have gone out of business, and the foothold now is they, know I'm the CEO, so it's a lot different. But I'm sure if I stepped into a room with all men, I would still get that, even at my age, I would still get it, and not like toot my horn about how I look or anything. It's just a woman in a male-dominated industry, and they don't expect to see a cutie, especially somebody that's black, articulate, smart, and dynamic. They don't expect to see that. So it comes across as, I guess, interesting and
So
intriguing.
so let's stay there for a second. So let's speak to that. Let's speak to how you um I, I guess respond, because in all of the instances that you shared, I didn't feel any kind of negativity from you as to kind of how you felt in that environment when they were hitting on you or whatever. How do you recommend women navigate that space so that it is empowering as opposed to something that they they don't like?
So I think for me, because I grew up around all boys, I just know how to navigate the males, right? I mean, I'm the only granddaughter in my generation of grandchildren on both sides. So I was always playing with boys, hanging out with boys, doing stuff, and I would go to the club with the boys. I'd get dropped out, I go in my way, they go in their way. We met up at the end of the night. So I just know how to navigate the male aspect. But I think for a woman, first of all, don't take offense. Definitely stand your ground and correct them. You can do it in a manner where they get the point without being categorized as a bitch, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it is flattering, but sometimes the flattery goes a bit too far. And when you notice it goes too far and you're uncomfortable with, you call them out on it, professionally. Like, hey, I'm not here for that. I'm here, I'm a professional and you just call them out and but do it in a nice way. Because sometimes they're going to come at you seductively, threatening. Um, it may seem complimentary at first and it just goes a little bit too far. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If you don't correct the behavior when it first starts, it will continue on and it will continue to get worse and more invasive. And so I think as women professionals, specifically as women um, business owners and CEO, when you're having to deal with men in a male dominated industry or any business where the man or men are at the helm of the, C-suite, so to speak, it's very good to at first lay those ground rules and come in as a professional. I think sometimes women get caught up trying to be sexy and all that, and the way they dress and stuff. And you can be sexily dressed professionally, you know what I mean? But you got to stop it right when you notice it's going a little bit too far. You're a bit uncomfortable, and each woman will know. Each woman has a different radar for that. You got to nip it in the bud, but do it in a professional manner because those people, those men, might be your next greatest, and most profitable customer, right? And if you piss them off, and the network is deep, then you may not get that opportunity to get any jobs with regards to what you do in that particular industry and in that network. So I think every man respects a woman when we can say, hey, you know what, in a nice professional manner, I'm not here for that. I'm a professional. I'm here to do business. If you want to do business with me, great. But if you're looking for a booty call, I'm not the one.
Mhm.
And yeah, they may feelings may get hurt, but
Yeah.
I think
No.
overall they'll respect you afterwards.
Yeah, understood. I think that was very good. I loved how your manner, as I mentioned, is very calm and very clear. And I also heard be decisive up front. Don't let it go on so long. Say what you have
Yeah.
to say in a nice way, and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
so you kind of touched on this a little bit. I want to kind of call it out some. So you made so the all day cable is not your only business. You have another business which is based in wellness. Can you share just kind of how that transition happened? How do we go from cable installation engineering to a wellness space?
Well, I am a registered nurse, nationally certified emergency room trauma nurse, mobile intensive care nurse. Been a nurse for 36 years. And I'm still licensed, even though I'm not clinically practicing. And so the transition was easy. As I mentioned in the beginning, I was working as a nurse and then doing emergency room trauma nursing at night when we started the business. I still did that. I didn't do it on a full-time basis because I had the privilege of working for a great company where I only could do minimum hours and make sure my benefits were taken care of. That was the whole thing. Working until we make sure we were making money but I wanted to have the good benefits. And so the transition was very easy for me because I was in Silicon Valley. I had some of the most influential people as patients you would ever know. Several of them we use their technology today. Um, and what I discovered was that, and I have been practicing holistic well-being since I was like 10 years old. I just didn't know what it was at the time. And so what I discovered was that you could have all the money in the world, but if your health and wellness fails, you can't buy it back. And I have had patients that have came in and requested to talk to me, to see me, that was hoping I was working so they could share that with me. And so I realized that not only is it important to have a great running business and the health and well-being of your business is what, helps you to create wealth, generational wealth. But your health and well-being is the greatest asset we will ever have. And I've seen so many patients over the course of my years that had all the money, couldn't buy their health and well-being back. And so for me, starting Blissful Living for You was easy. It was very easy. I know women, we put ourselves last. We don't ever put ourselves first, which is so wrong. We need to put ourselves first. Our health and well-being suffer, and we will have serious health and well-being conditions and won't address them because we're so busy taking care of everybody else. The other thing is with our mindset, if your mindset's not right, You can't manage your money. You can't manage your health and well-being. You can't even manage yourself and your life. And so it's important to have the right mindset to understand that you are the greatest thing on the planet. You are the most important person to yourself on the planet. And if you don't make yourself first, nobody else is going to do it for you. Not your kids, your husband, your mama, your daddy, your grandparent, nobody, right?
Say that
Nobody.
again. Say that again.
If you don't make yourself the most important person and take care of yourselves first, nobody else is going to do it for you. They'll feel sorry for you when you're sick and all, but nobody's going to do anything for you. And then wealth, it's like we as women have so many years relied upon a man to take care of us. It's generational stuff. That man will wait till he gets in his 40s and will divorce your butt for a honey that's 20 years younger than you and will leave you broke. I've seen it all across all races, all race, black, white, Asian, Latino, all races. And so you got to have the right mindset to be able to put your health and well-being first and to know that you got to manage your money and do things that make sure you set yourself up for the future. Now, you may stay married for a long time or never get divorced, but at least if you're doing something on your own, just think it's duplication of the efforts of building wealth that allows you to create a financial legacy for your future generations so they don't start off at zero. And so, with all of that and all the people I've seen and taken care of in that capacity, it was just a natural thing for me to start Blissful Living for You. And when I did, the funny thing is those CEOs that wouldn't hire me, those managers of the companies in Silicon Valley, major corporations that still exist today that wouldn't hire me in the 80s, when my spa opened up in Northern California, some of those people were some of my clients, and they would say, I remember when you came in and we didn't have, we couldn't, whatever. Recording artists, famous athletes on, the Giants, the A's, the Warriors, the, Sacramento Kings, they would come to me. And these are people with money, but their health and well-being was suffering. And so even me helping them help them to understand that they have to put themselves first, and you got to make your health and well-being the number one priority. Because when you have health and well-being, you become unstoppable and can't nobody stop you from doing what you want to do.
Right. Unstoppable. I love that. Now, I mentioned in the intro that you are the queen of feeling fabulous, and I want you to kind of just connect the dots as to how that title came to be, and if there's a backstory to that as well.
Oh, yeah, it's a little bit of a backstory. So, um, in 2010, I started going, doing more networking and going out to events and conferences and things representing Blissful Living for You. Because All Day Cable was running solid. It was running like that Maserati on the smoothest freeway in California. I'll say Highway 1, where you get to see the coast and the mountains and everything, right? And so that was running smooth. And so I went out to venture out, and I had this wonderful spa that I had these highfalutin influential clients coming to. So, anyways, I'm at this one conference, and these ladies kept seeing me. Now, these ladies are powerful, high influential ladies in the industry. And if I dropped their names, everybody would know. But we became friends. And they were like, girl, every time you walk in the room, all eyes are on you. The attention draws. You're very regal. Every time somebody asks you how you doing, how's business doing, how you feeling, you always say fabulous. You always come in with this air of fabulousness. You command the room and you don't even have to say a word. And so they looked at each other and said, we gonna name you the queen of feeling fabulous. And that's how that came about. Because I do. I always feel fabulous. I mean, I'm not on any pharmaceuticals. I'm healthy, and if I have an issue, I know how to holistically, bring balance into myself so the issue is dissolved. But that is really how I became known as the queen of feeling fabulous. And yeah, I just was like, okay, I will accept that. Thank you,
Right.
ladies.
Right. And I've seen you wear your crown on your talk show as well. So it's something that you definitely embrace. So I want to know, how do you, for a woman who wants to balance her high achieving success and wellness, what are the first steps? What would you give her as advice?
I would say go to my website, Blissful Living for You, take the dosha quiz to find out what your unique essence is in the world. And just so you all know that Ayurveda is a holistic medical modality that's been around from anywhere from 3,500 to 7,000 years. It's all about holistic, utilizing what God has put on the earth for medicine for us to help us stay balanced, to help us stay focused, to help us stay clear of mind, body, spirit, of illness and disease, right? So go take that dosha quiz and find out your unique essence. You'll get a bunch of information and gifts with regards to how you can navigate that. And then once you have that information, it becomes powerful because you begin to understand why you do what you do, how you drive your Maserati or your Porsche or whatever, your Bentley, whatever car you imagine that's your luxury modes of transportation. But it'll help you to understand how you ebb and flow and how to recognize when you are out of balance. The key is when you recognize when you're out of balance, only then can you begin to make the corrections to bring yourself into a balanced state. But if you are driving down that freeway and your tires are underinflated and you don't know, you're going to crash and burn. And so when you know what you are, how you're supposed to flow, it's so much easier for you to recognize the imbalances in your body and in your mind. And you can make the changes to bring yourself back into balance holistically and harmonistically. And so that is what I would suggest.
I love it. So go over to your website, to say the website again.
Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com.
Mhm. Love that. So after you get some knowledge and some awareness of where you are, now you can start
Uh-oh.
taking some steps to making those things kind of putting them into alignment. I love it. So what we're going to do, we're
Yes.
going
And if you
to,
want additional, if you want additional assistance or you want to reach out to me for a conversation, you can do that as well. I mean, you can just go to my website and, reach out to me. I'm all over social media. Um, I'm connected with you. So if you're shy, you like, I don't know if I can reach out to her directly. They can reach out to you, Dr. Marcia, and you can connect me, but
absolutely.
um the if you can't find me, it's because you really ain't looking for me. If you can't like clear up some things, it's because you're really not trying to do it. And I'm going to tell you that Ayurveda works well with Western medicine. And because I am a Western medicine nurse, registered nurse, an Ayurvedic nurse practitioner, I can blend Western with Eastern and have you flowing like that Porsche. I'm gonna say Porsche now. That flowing like that sassy little Porsche uh that you are, or your Bentley or your Rolls or however you want to roll. But I can have you flowing harmonistically. But we got to discover what's holding you back and where your imbalances are. And this applies to you personally and in your business. Because here's the thing, your business is definitely a reflection of you.
100%. So Dr. Rochelle Marie, what we're going to do, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Are you a female entrepreneur who feels stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure how to move forward? The Life Coaching for Business Builders program helps you harness your inner power, build your authentic platform, and chart a clear path to business success. You don't have to do this alone. Together, we'll create strategies, structure, and accountability to help you boss up in life and business. It's time to claim your power and make your business dreams a reality. All right, and we are back here at Boss Business Strategies. I am Dr. Marcea, your host, and I have with me Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson. She is a boss entrepreneur as well in the business side, cable, all day cable, but also on the wellness side. She's also my Black Door Society sister. And she was a co-author in my anthology called Destiny Expose. We were in Times Square where Barnes and Noble best-selling authors, all of the things, just to add to your credits. And it was an honor to have you in the room. And so I want to start off this segment talking about being bold and being unstoppable. And I know that you have had a show, and I think for almost what has it been 15 years?
So I have the Bold Unstoppable show, which is the show with a panel of women, but my actual podcast is the Blissful Living podcast. That's what's I've had since 2010.
Hmm. So tell me what is the difference between being bold and being fearless? Or are they the same?
Um, Being bold is you step out and you really don't care what people think. You just do it. Being fearless is you have no fear of what people think. And you have no fear of the challenges that might be presented to you. It's being fearless. You have no fear. And being bold allows you to do it however you want to do it, and you really don't give a damn. That's to put it, you really don't give a damn. So yeah.
I love that. So tell me, what was the boldest thing that you've done in, I guess, in business?
I went after a multi seven-figure contract, not even sure if we could handle it, uh, and got the contract. And my thought was, if we get the contract, I'll figure out how we could do it.
Yeah.
And that was that contract where we were rolling out the 832 branch remodels in California for that financial institution. And there was only a staff of 8 complete. And the project was a quick rolling 4-month project. So it was like, ooh, we got it. We figured it out, hired some more people and, got it done. And not only did we get it done 100% on time, within budget, uh, and yeah, that solidified our relationships as that premier telecommunications installation company.
That's amazing. So first of all, tell me from the mindset space, what did that take?
Patience with myself because I'm a perfectionist. And I don't like stuff to be done incorrectly.
Mhm.
Is so it was taking patience and having grace that everybody doesn't roll like me. Even the ex-husband and co-founder of the company, everybody doesn't roll like me. And so I had to pull back of stop being the bitch, the bitch. Even though I'm being in total control of myself, I had to pull back and understand that everybody operates differently, and I had to allow people to have grace. And once I did that, it was a big learning lesson for me because I was young. I mean, I may have been in my 30s by then, and still was doing a lot of learning. But yeah, that was the biggest challenge. And now it's just like I just make sure that people are in the right positions that makes them successful and that they always know that they can always come to me and communicate. If they don't like something, if they don't like what I said, they don't, how you could the door is always open for communication. When you have that, I think you develop trust from your employees. They trust you and they know that they can come to you with whatever it is, and you're going to take time to listen objectively and not subjectively and without any feelings. And uh, it gives them the tie-in that they're part of something versus working for something. They feel valued and yeah, and so the commitment goes a little bit higher and the worth ethic will improve and because they know that they're a reflection of the company. It's not just me, it's not just Daryl, it's all of us. We're reflection. So whenever someone's out there, they're always reflecting in a reflection of the company, and people are always going to look at how you behave. So yeah.
Awesome. So, Dr. Rochelle Marie, tell me, what is your legacy? What do you want to leave behind in the world?
I want to leave a couple of things behind. I want to leave my business all day cable to my children. All 4 of them have worked in the business, beginning when they were teens. And now there's only one, my youngest son, my baby boy, who is the director of operations and project management, who will be moving into the role of president of the company as Daryl, his dad, transitions out to retire. And so that's a legacy that I don't think either one of I know for sure none of his side nor my side. We're the first entrepreneurs in our whole family, generational wise, like lineage back. And so that's something, that's a legacy. The other legacy is my nonprofit that I've started, 1 Million Girls, with the goal of being able to send 1 million girls around the world to college via grants and scholarship tuition free. And when I say college, I mean a 4-year university. I don't mean beauty school, nail school, you know. I mean a 4-year university. And so that legacy is something that I've been wanting to do for probably since I was 25. And so my daughter is on the board of directors for that. And so that will be the legacy that will be left for her to carry forward. I know I won't be able to see a million girls go to school tuition free in, you know, the time I have left, even though I'm gonna live to 110.
Exactly.
But but you know, those are legacies because when you think about it, African American people do not leave legacies for their children. And so when they die, whatever they have dies with them. White people don't do that. You know, they leave legacies for their children, and not all white people, but I'm saying the majority, we never were taught that. And you know, African Americans, we're not taught that. It's just the way it was. We were slaves, you know, and you just try to work to survive, you know, and those that have had success, they may do it. I don't know. They never share this information or wisdom, but that's one of the things I think that's pivotal as we move forward as a race of beautiful, brilliant people, learning to do what those that do not look like us and had enslaved us in the past have done, and that's why they have generational wealth. And so when we open up those doors and have those dialogues with our children, um, and those around us and our families, it creates I want to say, an opening in the mind to know that we can do it too. We just have to start one step at a time, but it is possible. It is possible.
Amazing. I mean, those are both major accomplishments. And so I say congratulations to you and that you have set your children up for success. So I know that you've built successful businesses on the cable side as well as the wellness side. What do you think was the common theme um, in both of those builds?
My tenacity. I'm a person that you can't, don't tell me I can't do something because I'm going to be like, in my head, I'm going to show you that I can do it. And even if it's something I really don't want to do, but if you tell me I can't do it, I'm going to be like, watch me. Because, you know, action speaks louder than words. And so I think that that really is it. I've been like that since a little girl. Story I share with everybody is I was the first girl in Northern California to play Major League Baseball in an all boys baseball league in the
Really?
70s.
Wow.
And not only did make the team, I started at second base. This little skinny 10-year-old, 11-year-old girl, I started at second base and I made the All-Stars. And I didn't know until years later that there were people coming from all around Northern California to see this little girl, this little skinny female phenom play baseball. And
Really?
so I went to try out with my friends, the two boys, we rode our bikes. I got there, the coaches said, "Oh, honey, softball tryouts are in 2 weeks." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't come here to try for softball." They're like, "Well, you can't try for baseball." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going home. I rode my bike 2 miles. You letting them try out. I'm better than him." And so one of the moms was like, "Let her try out. What is it gonna hurt?" And when I tried out, they realized, oh dang. So at the end, all these coaches that had told me no were fighting over who was going to get me on their team. And I'm just this little girl watching them have this conversation, arguing, right? And so, yeah, so that's me. Don't tell me I can't do something because I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to be looking at you like, yeah, you thought I couldn't do this, right? Look at me now. Look at me now. I'm making paper.
I love that. And I can see how that has been your story and I guess the push that has been driving you that actually was an internal thing. And I think a lot of where things kind of turn on for individuals is we can't be pushed. It has to be an internal
Yes.
drive that gets
Yeah.
us out of bed and gets us to the next level. What do you think about that?
I agree. Not everybody's born with the tenacity and the sassiness that I am. I used to get in trouble for it when I was a little girl all the time.
Hmm.
But you can learn to develop it. And once you learn to develop it, you can work that muscle. It's like everybody's not going to everybody's going who goes to the gym is not going to get a six pack, right? Or, but They can get tight abs and, plump their booty and get sculpted legs. They may not look like the bodybuilder chicks, but they will do what's right for them. And so I say that, everybody's just has a different way of ebbing and flowing. And when you find what that is based on learning what your dosha is, it becomes a game changer and you understand I may not look like Jennifer Lopez, but hell, she may not be as sassy as I am. You know what I mean? Or she may not be as smart. She got people working for her. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
everybody has a gift. It's just up to you to find out what your gift is and then work that muscle
Work it.
until it becomes powerful.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, here on Boss Business Strategies, one of my favorite questions is that I want to know what your $1 million moment was. And when I say that, I mean, what was the thing that created the $1 million for you? What would you say that is?
I think it's a culmination of things, but I think when I realized that I was onto something was when I became nominated and awarded as one of the top 50 women-owned businesses in Silicon Valley, multiple years in a row. But that first year was pivotal because I just thought we're just a small business. Nobody knows who I am. And from that moment, things just began to transform. And being able to network and be in a exclusive community where women were they were printing cash. The number one lady that was on the that at the top 50 of women-owned business, the number one business owners in Silicon Valley at that time was making $852 million a year. And this was in like 1997. And when I talked to her and I asked her, she said, never give up on your dreams and never let somebody tell you you can't do something. And she said, you don't even have to talk to them back. You just go out and show them. And as they're looking at you, you burn rubber as you take off in your luxury vehicle or whatever vehicle you like, you burn rubber and leave them in the smoke. And they will recognize that you are a game changer and you're a force to be reckoned. I never will forget. And she was a little tiny Asian woman. But I'm like, okay, this little tiny Asian woman's got some tenacity. She's a fierce, fearless, and unstoppable chick. If she's telling me this, let me incorporate and learn as much as I possibly can from her. And so yeah, that was my $1 million moment and it hasn't stopped.
Love that. As you were sharing, the thing that I mean, the numbers were good, okay, but the thing that I took away is that you had someone to show you what was possible.
Yeah. And I have to say, Dr. Marcia, I had a group of ladies. I joined an organization, and this is why I tell people and community connection and collaboration is so important because I joined the organization. I'm a lone ranger. I'm a soloist. I like to just ebb and flow alone, so to speak. But I joined an organization where these women-owned businesses in Silicon Valley were not playing. And these ladies took me, they were like my mom's age, but they took me under their wing. I got on the board of directors, made it all the way up to president, and had the highest membership in Silicon Valley that they had ever seen. And but it was these ladies that showed me how to ebb and flow in the big scheme of things, taught me things that I didn't even know about running my business, made introductions for me to people that were key influencers in Silicon Valley and really took me under their wing and mentored me. And so I have to thank those ladies, and I'm pretty sure many of them are have deceased because they were probably in their 50s, 60s at the time. And it's been a minute, 35 years. So yeah, it's uh it's been very interesting, very, very interesting.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And it's just good to hear um, that the system works, right? The system works, and you can get what you need, and you can elevate to places that you may not have thoughts of, but you just have to, as you say, be tenacious and to keep moving. So Dr. Rochel, as Marie, as we get ready to close out, I want you to speak to those women or to that woman who is feeling stuck or scared to make that bold move, whether that's in her career or in her life. What would you say to her to reignite that unstoppable fire and drive that you have been blessed with?
I think if you're afraid, just do it. And if you're afraid to do it, then it's a little bit more deeper than, words. It has to do with the way you're wired and what you see for yourself. But as a lady out there, you're the baddest, greatest, most beautiful person on the planet, and you have to own that. Um, just do it. It's like think back when you was a kid and you did something you was gonna get your behind whooped, but you did it anyway because it was fun in the moment. You knew you was gonna get in trouble, but it was fun in the moment.
Mhm.
Why did you do it then? Right? Ain't nobody gonna whoop you behind now. Yeah, you might stumble, you might have some challenges, you might even have what we may call a failure or two. But you will never know your greatness if you don't step out and be that brave, bold, unstoppable chick. Don't let fear hold you back because fear is really false evidence appearing real. And when you understand that fear is false evidence appearing real, you can shatter that and go forth and command your throne like the queen that you are.
Love it, love it, love it. Now, I know you're having an event coming up. Can you just kind of just share a little bit of what it is and then how folks can learn more about it?
So my event coming up is a virtual summit. It's happening September 24th, and the event is called Freedom Amplified. We're talking about how you can build wealth in your life, and again create generational wealth and set up legacies for you and your future generations. I always like to say future female generations because I always be thinking about my daughter, but your future generations. And it'll be me and a few speakers, and really we're going to take deep dives into helping you all to understand the importance of creating wealth, how you can do it, how it's not hard when you get the synergistic flow and know what your gaps are and what your roadblocks are, you get the steps how to overcome those roadblocks so you can go forth with whatever you want to do when it comes to creating wealth. And it is, all holistic based wellness, wisdom, wealth, uh, because you definitely got to tackle the mindset issues to be able to step out and claim that wealth is yours. There's so much wealth in the world available for us. It's just we let that false evidence appearing real stop us. And so at this virtual summit, we're going to kick that false evidence appearing real in the behind and break open the doors and unveil the tips, the techniques, the secrets that will allow you to have the wealth that you desire to create in your business and in your life.
Awesome. How do they find out more?
They can, we should be having some things come out next week. So go to Eventbrite, look up me, my name. You can go to my website. You can email me, at Rochel Marie at Blissful Living for You or Rochel Lawson at Gmail. But the Blissful Living for You email is probably the most appropriate. And of course, if they want to know more and they can't find me, it's because they're not looking because I'm on social media and it'll be all over social media. But lastly, or firstly, you can always go to Dr. Marcea and she can put you in connect with me and how you can sign up for the virtual summit, and it's free. And you will get some powerful gifts that you can take away, workbooks and things of that nature that will help you to start creating what you want in your life when it comes to wealth and identifying your blocks and what you need to do on a daily basis so that you can create the wealth you desire in your life and in your business.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Dr. Rochelle Marie, thank you so much for being here. Just stay tuned for 1 second. Don't go anywhere. You've heard it here. You've heard it here. You have heard it here. That was Dr. Rochelle Marie Lawson, and I'm Dr. Marcia. your life and your business coach. And wherever you are in business, in your business journey, there were some nuggets that were shared that are going to help you to build. And so I want you to like, I want you to comment, I want you to share this video, and let's stay connected. You can go to drmarcea.com, that's DRMARCEA, to learn more about creating your own stage, how more about life and business coaching, as well as requesting me to come and speak. So now I'm signing off from Boss Business Strategies, the premier talk show for trailblazers scaling to $1 million. Take care. See you next time.